All right, today we're going to dive into something pretty mind-bending. We're talking about the ghost in the machine, all those invisible, unconscious forces that are constantly shaping your world, probably way more than you think.
So let me ask you this, and be honest. Are you really in the driver's seat of your own life? That choice you made for breakfast, the words you just said to a friend, was that all you? Or was something else pulling the strings?
And this right here is the central puzzle. On one hand, you have that feeling, right? I am making this choice. This is me. But underneath the surface, your brain has already been hard at work, sifting through data and nudging you in a certain direction long before you're even aware of it.
So let's dig into that feeling first. This powerful sense of being in control, this illusion of choice. Where does it even come from? Well, it helps to redefine what we mean by free will. What if it's not some superpower that lets you make decisions in a vacuum? What if instead it's a perception? It's the story your conscious mind tells itself to make sense of all the signals and impulses that bubble up from deep within. It's the feeling of authorship, not necessarily the whole truth.
Okay, so why? Why would our brains be set up this way? You might think it sounds like a flaw, a bug in the system, but it's not. It turns out this is a core feature of our brain's ancient survival code.
And here's the bottom line. Your brain is all about saving energy. Its number one priority, developed over millions of years of evolution, isn't to give you some kind of absolute freedom. Nope. It's to keep you alive as efficiently as possible. And efficiency means taking shortcuts, a lot of them. And these are its go-to shortcuts. In literally any situation, your brain's running this background check. First, what's the safest move? Second, what did I do last time that worked? And third, what do the people around me expect me to do so I don't get kicked out of the tribe? The answers to these questions pretty much set the stage for your choice. So, if our brain is running on these shortcuts, what are the actual forces pulling the strings? Let's take a look at these unseen puppeteers who are working behind the scenes 24/7.
This quote really nails it. We're not just talking about huge life decisions here. We're talking about everything. Every single thought, every action, it's all filtered through these deep, invisible layers of conditioning that have been built up over your entire life.
Just look at all the things feeding into this. It's wild. Your past experiences, your current mood, those primal instincts to survive, and even really subtle things in your environment, like the lighting in a room or a song playing in the background. They are all whispering suggestions to your brain, all without your conscious permission. So let's map it out. Here's how a choice is born, and it happens in a flash. First, something in your environment acts as a trigger. Instantly, your brain cross-references it with a lifetime of data. This creates a gut feeling, an emotional nudge. And then, only at the very end of this whole chain reaction, do you consciously experience it as, oh, I think I'll choose this.
Now, hearing all of this, it's easy to feel a little, powerless, like you're just a passenger. But here's the twist. This knowledge is actually the most empowering thing you can have. It's the first step to taking some control back from your autopilot.
Look, you're never going to completely turn off the autopilot. It's too important. It keeps you functioning. But what you can do is learn how it works. Understanding the system gives you this subtle but incredibly powerful edge. You can start to work with your programming instead of just being led by it.
So what does this edge look like in the real world? It's simple, but not easy. First, you start noticing your automatic patterns, your knee-jerk reactions. Then, you get curious. You start to question those initial impulses. Why do I suddenly feel this way? And maybe most importantly, you try to create just a tiny pause, a little bit of space between the trigger and your reaction. That space, that's where your power really is. So, we'll leave you with this thought. Knowing you're guided by all these hidden forces doesn't make you a puppet. It just means you can finally see the strings. And the real question is no longer about if the strings exist. The question is, now that you see them, how are you going to choose to pull them?